guy who is auditioning for the most important job in the land, and he's telling us his terms and conditions are that he's not going to work on a Friday night. Are you absolutely kidding me? We've got a country being run by absolute muppets. That's what's going on.
Really? We have someone who aspires to lead the country and is already starting to set his own conditions as if it were a whim. Isabel Oakeshott has made it clear. What kind of commitment is that? For any of us, not showing up to work on Friday night would not be an option. But here is Starmer aspiring to a position that should involve full dedication. It's not just his free time, it's what he symbolizes. Are he really willing to put the British people first? If a potential leader already starts by setting their own boundaries in this way, what can we expect from their ability to make critical decisions? This speaks of a deep disconnect between him and the realities of the average citizen. While thousands of people face grueling workdays, Starmer seems more focused on his own preferences. And Oakeshott is right. These kinds of attitudes don't inspire confidence, but rather make it clear that, for him, leadership is just another step in his career, not a service to country. The reality is that the British need leaders who live in the same world as them, who understand their concerns and challenges. With this personal preference attitude, Starmer gives the impression of being far removed from the problems that affect millions. Oakeshott reminds us that we need more than just pretty words. We need concrete actions and absolute commitment. If you don't show total readiness from the start, what can we expect in the long run? This is not what the country needs.
And he then also says, all MPs receive free gifts. As if that's okay.
It just isn't true. You know, I've been around Westminster for over, I'm sorry to say, it's about 20 years. And, you know, during that time, got to know very, very well how MPs live and how they operate. And it is not true that they are showered in gifts or even offered modest things. And those with the integrity, who have their main focus on their constituents. In this case, Starmer's constituents are, by the way, the entire nation. That's the job he signed up to do. Do not blindly accept hospitality worth thousands or even hundreds of pounds, and they certainly don't accept clothes. And are they to be offered these things? The sensible ones will immediately think two things. First of all, what does this person bearing gifts want from me?
Yep.
And secondly, however tempting these little luxuries might seem, how is that going to backfire?
And the secrets? Isabel Oakeshott dropped a bombshell when she suggested that Starmer might be hiding something important. This should give us deep thought. What leader remains so hermetic when his credibility is at stake? In times when transparency is an essential value, any shadow of doubt leaves a mark. The lack of clarity and dodging questions only increases suspicions. What is he really hiding? Why isn't it being opened? Here we are, demanding clear answers, and while citizens are holding people accountable, Starmer continues to evade the issue. It's not just about maintaining a public image, it is about the trust of millions who expect integrity from those who represent them. Oakeshott made it clear, a leader who hides, who plays elusive, is not someone who can be trusted in the long run. If he does not clarify his intentions from the beginning, what can we expect if he comes to power? And, while everyone may be entitled to their privacy, leaders should be the first to lead by example. In public office, every action, every word is measured and weighed, and in this case, Starmer is leaving an impression of a lack of candor. Oakeshott reminds us that when a leader avoids questions, something is wrong, and that gives us a clear signal that we must demand more from those who seek to guide us. The issue of immigration is one of the most critical and sensitive issues we face today. Oakeshott didn't mince words, exposing how Starmer seems to ignore the true effects of his policies on citizens. While he talks about opening doors and offering opportunities, he seems to have completely forgotten the hardships faced by British families who are already here, struggling to have a home and security. Who prioritizes their needs? The reality is that, while Starmer tries to curry favor with everyone, Oakeshott points to what many already feel, that his policies seem more geared toward winning sympathy than solving real problems. The housing situation is critical, with British families increasingly struggling to access a roof. But according to what Oakeshott implies, Starmer goes ahead without evaluating the consequences that this brings for his own people. Immigration policies cannot be detached from the reality that is already experienced in the country. We need leaders who put the citizens of their own country at the forefront, who will work to improve their conditions before expanding resources in new promises. Oakeshott makes an important call here. We are at a time where inner needs must be taken care of, and Starmer seems to be looking in another direction. She reminds us that good leadership involves difficult, pragmatic decisions, not just words to please.
To say, and I take no prisoners on this, I don't think I have ever seen a more hapless, useless, completely and utterly redundant government than this one. After 2 months, they have completely destroyed all confidence in the United Kingdom. They've made enemies in Israel, they've made enemies in the United States, they've given money to people who don't deserve it, and they've punished pensioners. Aside from that, they want to stop you smoking in a pub garden, and they want to go after Oasis for selling concert tickets for too much money. I mean, is there anything else that they could do to make it any more ridiculous?
It is frustrating to see a leader who moves between empty promises and set phrases without a real commitment. Oakeshott hits the nail on the head when he accuses Starmer of having a policy of easy promises and anything-goes gifts trying to win sympathy. But in reality, citizens want to see someone who truly represents their interests, who is not trapped in their own image or in unresolved scandals. These kinds of empty policies make it clear that Starmer is simply not ready. A leader cannot talk about change without taking responsibility. Britons want to see tangible change, not promises that crumble when held accountable. Oakeshott, with every word, exposes that Starmer's lack of clear direction not only affects his credibility, but confidence in the political system as a whole. His disconnection and lack of clarity is what today has so many citizens questioning whether he can really represent a nation that needs solutions, not mere words. When Isabel Oakeshott demands answers from him, she reminds us that it's not just about aspiring to power, it's about proving that you can lead with integrity. What we want to see in our leaders is honesty and commitment to the challenges we face. The reality is that we need more than just statements. We want to see concrete action and commitment, and that's exactly what Starmer seems to be avoiding. It's not what this country needs at this critical time. Isabel Oakeshott does an exceptional job of exposing Starmer's weaknesses. Every time she points out an inconsistency, she reveals something many are already feeling. Starmer has failed to offer a true leadership alternative. Its focus on critical issues such as Brexit and transparency has been poor, and its lack of concrete action leaves much to be desired. For a country looking for direction, its attempts to gain relevance only demonstrate its lack of preparation. Strong leaders must lead with clarity and purpose, and Oakeshott reminds us that Starmer seems to be more interested in responding to pressure than leading with authenticity. Their lack of clarity on key issues reflects their disconnect from the real concerns of citizens. How can the country trust someone who seems so willing to dodge the toughest issues? Oakeshott's critique is a call to demand better leaders, not figures who just react to problems without solving anything. Politics should focus on concrete solutions and the well-being of citizens, not on gaining momentary popularity, and Oakeshott reminds us of this with every point he makes. We need leaders who put people first, who focus on real change. Starmer has a lot of room for improvement, but based on what we see so far, he doesn't seem willing to take the responsibility that the country needs from a leader.